About this thing, the Rex 01 from Slovenia. Looks a lot like a Sig P226 or P220, right? Yep, sure does. And the price tag is a lot smaller. Been a lot going around about it. Let's look at it and talk about it a little bit, and then get it out to the range. I don't think there's anything special to see up here. Nope, just a very bright yellow lock and the usual paperwork and manual and so forth. I probably should read the manual at some point, right? Comes with 2 magazines, both 17 rounders. You've probably seen this featured on some other channels. It's been getting a lot of attention lately, and rightfully so. It's a very interesting firearm, and I will tell you, I haven't shot it yet, but it looks and feels of quality. It is, of course, very, very obviously inspired by the Sig P226. Oh yeah, which just happens to be right there. But and when I say inspired, that's really a nice way of saying copied, but with some differences. Let's talk quickly about some of those differences and just take a nice look at it for a sec. So, like the P226, it is an alloy frame and steel slide. It is a hammer-fired, double-action, single-action semi-automatic pistol. It bears striking resemblance in aesthetics and in dimensions. The grip feels virtually identical to a P226. Trigger guard is a little bigger, a little squarer. The slide is squarer, doesn't have that Sig rounded top. I'm afraid they probably would have gotten sued if they'd gone to that extent. Front and rear cocking serrations, which do provide a nice grip. You see a big red dot there. That's something you're not used to if you're a Sig person. That is a safety. So it is an ambidextrous safety. Not only that, but you could use it with either hand if you want. You can manipulate the slide if you're strong enough with the safety engaged. That's always something that I appreciate. Has a decocker right here, just like the Sig, if you're used to the Sig. But that's where this gets a bit interesting, because this control is a dual control. It's not just a decocker, it is also, watch this, it's also the slide stop and slide stop release. Interesting. Has a takedown lever that looks like it was taken right out of a P320. You don't have to pull the trigger to take the gun down. Alright, so there is a quick glance at the brand new, to me, been around for a little while, from an import perspective. There is a quick glance at the Rex 01. How about we go put 100 rounds through it? Alright, let's load her up. Start out with some Remington 115 grain ball. "17-round magazines, but I'm going to load them to 15 because it's easier for me to keep count that way. And my OCD likes it because I keep even rows in my ammo box. Alright, so that'll be 30. I don't have a holster, so I'm going to have to hold this thing by hand. Rex 01 This is a gun that everybody has been falling in love with, at least across the gun channel community on YouTube. So, interested to put this first 100 through it and check it out. Now remember, I'm not paid to like it, I'm not paid to dislike it. So, I bought this gun just the other day, and now we're going to put a first 100 through it. I'm going to start out double action. This thing feels like, from dry fire, feels like it's got a pretty heavy double action. Let's see how it feels in real live fire. Hopefully my target will stay up. We got the sort of the last remnants of Hurricane Michael blowing past. Cleared up for a minute, so I thought I would jump out here and entertain y'all with 100 rounds from the Rex 01. I'm at 10 yards from a bent up target. Well, that felt good. I was all over the place on the target, but that felt nice, that first 15 rounds. I just want to have a little fun with it. It's really kind of too windy today to do too much and worry too much about accuracy and all that, but it's not too windy to have fun. Let's see if we can use this slide stop release. There we go. I'm gonna decock it and start out double action again. All right, let me slow down. I'm gonna go to the head, take some head shots. Go a little slower. This thing, according to the paperwork that comes with it, the manual, this is supposed to be point of aim, point of impact, sight adjustment. So let's see what we got. Okay, pretty true to that. It might be just a wee tiny bit high at 10 yards, but yeah, pretty much puts them right where that front sight is. All right, here's a look at that sight picture, and here's a look at that double action trigger pull. Okay, I have 20 rounds left of Remington UMC 115 grain ball. So I put an orange dot on my target, pasted up a couple holes that were near it so we can see where my hits are. Let me try and go slow. Start out with single action, give myself a good chance for success. And at 10 yards, let's see how many of these last 20 Remingtons I can put in that orange dot. With the Rex 01. Okay, that was the first 10 of the 20. Looks like the hits are pretty good, actually. The wind is actually blowing me. Quiet. I see a couple of misses there. Around 7 and 8 o'clock. But hey, that doesn't look bad at all. Does not look bad at all. So it's slow fire, single action at 10 yards with Remington UMC. Looks like I put maybe 16 out of 20. Hard to tell with these tired old eyes, but looks like maybe 16 out of 20. Found their mark. Not bad, huh? The wind keeps knocking my target down, so I'm thinking maybe the best thing to do, put a whole bunch more holes in it. See if we can get the wind to pass through it. Start out double action again. Talk to you a little bit about what I think so far of this Rex 01 while I'm putting some more rounds down range. The double action is heavy. It's smooth. There are no real mechanical glitches or anything felt. But it is heavy. The single action is quite nice. It's not Sig Sauer nice, but it's nice. The reset is respectably short. Sight picture is nice. The sights are just plain 3-dot, fairly small, close together. The rear sight is a small sight, and the notch is fairly narrow. The front blade just fits in it, but it's a nice sight picture, and yeah, it's working okay for me today. That's for sure. These rounds are going exactly where I point them. I'll give you a closer look at the decocker lever and talk about it for a minute, but it's a combination decocker like you're used to on a Sig Sauer and slide stop, slide release, which is a pretty interesting combination of controls. It's got a little bit of kludgy behavior, but it works great. I'm not real crazy about the grips. They're a little plain, and they're like a hard plastic. They don't have a lot of texture to them. The front strap and the back strap both have vertical striations. No actual checkering. And again, they're not too bad, but a good set of grips would really enhance the feel of this gun. Let's go some more. Double action start. Again, it's smooth, but man, it's heavy. You can hear that reset. Gives nice feedback. There is a little take up after the reset. But not bad, not enough to be bothersome in any way. That was 100 rounds already. Wow. So I put 100 holes in that target. I think I put them all on the target. God, I hope so. So I put 100 holes in my target. Hopefully I'll make it a little less resistant to the wind. But I don't know, I may have to play a little bit more, do some bonus rounds. Try and show you a little bit of slow-mo footage. Show you some close-ups. It's a nice looking gun. Looks like a Sig, you know, so if you like that look, you're gonna like this look. If you don't like that look, you won't like it. Quality, ambidextrous safety, ambidextrous mag release, and as you just saw again, the mags don't always drop free. Now that is something that can maybe wear in over time, but that's with the slide open, right? So if I close the slide, and here's that little kludgy thing with the decocker and the slide stop, with the magazine inserted, which is pushing up on the slide stop, and you try to run that control, it wants to be more of a decocker. If you run it too far down, you can't drop the slide. So that's a little weird, but not a defect, just a funny way of working. What was I saying? Oh, right. So it is nice to have the ambidextrous controls. You know, if you happen to be ambidextrous or left-handed. Okay, same thing, different ammo. Herder's Select, 115 grain, full metal jacket, 10 yards, everything's the same except for the ammo. Put up a new dot and freshened the holes around it. So, let's see how we do with the Herders. Again, starting out single action, give myself a chance. The double action is heavy on this thing. It really does like a center hold, that is for sure. Man, I feel the wind actually kind of pushing me around a little bit. Hey man, quit pushing me around. I'm telling you. That's one thing I noticed, the mags don't always drop free. Hey, it finally got warm enough for me to take my coat off. I did not think that was going to happen today. Did not see that coming. But wrapping it up with the Rex 01. First 100, I'm actually approaching the 200 round mark, so it's one of those, you know, it's one of those where it's a whole lot of fun to shoot and you just want to keep going. So That's probably the first thing I'll say about this gun is it is a whole lot of fun to shoot, and you do want to just keep going. So bring a lot of ammo if you go get one of these and take it to the range. And remember to take the safety off when you pull the trigger. Not used to that. It's a smooth shooter. There's no doubt about it. It's really, really enjoyable to shoot. The action is very smooth. The trigger is really good. You know I bemoaned it a little bit comparing it to a Sig, and I'm really comparing it to a Sig SRT, and an SRT trigger is about as good as it gets. So if we take that for what it's worth and compare this trigger to just kind of an ordinary garden variety trigger, it's actually quite good. Very smooth. No, there's no grit at all. It's like ball bearings running this trigger. There is a little bit of here. Let me demonstrate. All right, so the double action is heavy, but it's very smooth, and it breaks clean. Okay. Then when we go to our reset, it's short. But then if you see closely here, there's a little bit of take up. See that? And then a beautiful crisp break. All right, let's look at that again. Double action. Reset. Nice tactile feedback, good audible feedback. And then there's a little take up. And then you're back at the wall. But it is a beautiful feeling trigger. Again, it feels like it's running on ball bearings inside. Very nice. Very, very shootable gun. Feels like quality. I might look for a set of grips somewhere. I doubt that they're directly compatible with Sig grips. I mean, as much as this thing looks like a 226, I don't know if you could just throw a pair of 226 grips on it. I might try that. I'll report back. But it could use a better set of grips. It could use a little better checkering out front, but that's really not a big deal. Now, if it was July and my hands were real sweaty, that might be more of a big deal. But on a nice October day like this, feels great. It's a lot like a Sig. It's got a few things different. It's a lot less expensive than a Sig. And what I've experienced with it today in a couple hundred rounds certainly lives up to the hype. Rex 01. We'll be seeing this one again. This is a nice gun. Okay, not to turn this into a comparison, because that's not what this video is about. It is just a first 100, but some comparisons are kind of obvious and need to be made, I think, just to give good information. So here is the Rex 01 lying next to the Sig Sauer P226. Now this P226 happens to be the extreme version, so it's got some upgrades and some extras. But just so you can see, the two of them obviously extremely close in design and appearance. Some differences. Rex 01 has carried the dust cover all the way forward, whereas Sig Sauer typically does not. This you'll see on like the P320 series, the polymer framed SIGs, but the steel and alloy framed SIGs are going to have that abbreviated dust cover. So that gives you a little bit more rail on the Rex. We'll take a look from the top. You can see that the Rex 01 is, turn them this way, much more squared off, whereas the Sig is, of course, very rounded and very Sig-like. But look at those profiles. They are just about identical, aren't they? Trigger guard is much larger on the Rex 01. In fact, the Rex 01 will not fit into my Sig Sauer Serpa holster, and the reason is because of the trigger guard. It looks like the rest of the gun would probably fit just fine, but that trigger guard is oversized. Triggers are different, but again, that's not a fair comparison. There's a lot of combinations of triggers you can get with a Sig. Everything else looks very similar. Some subtle changes here and there. Talked about the decocking lever. Of course, Sigs don't have a safety. The double action, single action Sig Sauers do not come with a safety. The Rex 01 does. So there's our comparison. Now I'm just going to do a couple of other comparisons for those who are interested in some data points. And I'm going to put a scale here. I'm going to move my patches a little bit out of the way. Speaking of those patches, though, that's there to show a little love to the Just an Opinion channel's good partner, Patriot Patch Company, where you can get the Relax It's Just an Opinion patch. But even if you don't like that patch, or you don't care about that one, you still should go check them out. They have tons of really cool stuff. Oh, and by the way, if you shop at Patriot Patch, don't be stupid like me. Use the discount code Justin. You'll get 15% off your entire order. That is pretty significant. And the last time I ordered some stuff from them, which wasn't that long ago, I didn't even use my own discount code. So don't be dumb like me. Use the discount code. The weight of... You probably can't see that too well with the angle, but the weight is 2 pounds, 0.55 ounces, and that is the 01. Now the Sig P226, 2 pounds, 0.25 ounces, so a difference of only 0.3 ounces. Very, very slight, and I will go ahead and say insignificant. Okay, one other measurement you may be curious about is trigger pull. So I'm going to measure the double action. If I can, I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to. I don't think my scale is going to register this because it's probably going to be too heavy for it. Yep. It is over the maximum that this trigger gauge will allow, so we can't measure the double action. I'm thinking it feels to me, that feels like, 15 pounds. Probably close to it. It may not be that. But let's measure the single action pull, which I certainly hope is not too heavy for the trigger gauge. Single action pull is 5 pounds, 10 ounces. That's not too bad. So that's it. There she is. Rex 01. This is an affordable gun, certainly in the all steel and alloy combination. Seems to be an extremely reliable gun. It's very well made. I like the quality of it. The fit and finish is excellent. It shoots great. It's a lot of fun, and it's affordable. I think all that spells thumbs up. We'll see this one again. I'll do some comparisons maybe. Might just compare it to this guy.